I'm Kate Moyle. I'm a psychosexual and relationship therapist and host of the Sexual Wellness Sessions podcast. The way to sleep better with a partner, whether it's a new partner or an existing partner, is to make your bedroom a place for relaxation. We often use our bedroom for sleep and sex, and helping us to switch off to turn on from separating from the hecticness of our daily lives is really helpful. So when we are with someone, when we are touching someone, we get a neurochemical boost. It's called oxytocin release. This helps us to bond and feel closer and to feel relaxed. When we are also trying to be in an intimate space, it really helps us to not have distractions. So anything that helps you to switch off from your day, whether it's making your to-do list, turning your phone off half an hour before you get into bed, can help to set the context for creating a space for desire, intimacy, and connection. Sexual well-being impacts our daily lives because it is an integrated part of the rest of our health. We see this bi-directional relationship between sexual wellness and mental health, that stress can be caused by sex and sex can cause stress. So we know that because we see that when people are struggling in their sex lives, it can reach out and have a ripple effect into other areas of their lives, and that we see the benefits of sex for general well-being. We can also see that things like pleasure and orgasm offer us a chemical boost which can help to improve sleep, make us feel relaxed, and to make us feel good about ourselves. So we see that the benefits of sex are not just biological but also psychological. We also know that feeling confident in ourselves and that pleasure is something that we can give to ourselves, but when we feel connected to others, that this is something that can really benefit us. One of the things that I see as a psychosexual therapist is that when people are struggling with sex, they report a real sense of isolation and loneliness, that because we don't have this generalized, open, normalized conversation around sex, that when people are struggling, they feel like they're the only person that is struggling with this. And that is one of the biggest side effects of sex being a challenge that I see. One of the ways that we can see that sexual wellness impacts our general health is that we have this bi-directional relationship between our mental health and sex. So we can see that stress can cause sex and sex can cause stress. What this can mean is that we can be really distracted in sex, and actually this can take away from arousal and desire, getting in the way of us enjoying our experiences to the full. So one of the things that I see as a psychosexual therapist is that when people are struggling with sex, that they feel really alone and isolated in their experience. And this is because we don't have this normalized, open discussion around it as a topic. So the biggest side effect that a lot of people describe is a feeling of isolation. And this is something that we're really trying to change. Sexual wellness impacts so many areas of our daily lives, including our self-confidence, our relationships, and our mental health. We can help to boost our own sexual well-being in so many ways. One is learning and opening up our perspectives. We are taught such a limited version of sex, and actually when we start to listen to different ideas and different voices, we can really start to explore what feels good and what is good sexually for us. The next one is getting to know our bodies, so really learning about what feels good for us, what type of pleasure we like, and what makes us feel good. Sex is both universal and individual, so it's really important that instead of subscribing to what we think we should be doing, that we work it out for ourselves. One of the other things is thinking about pleasure. How do we give ourselves pleasure, and how does that help us to connect to ourselves, and how do we then communicate that to a partner? Fragrance can play a really important part in our sex lives and seduction in the way that it can help us to make positive associations with intimacy. Because sensuality is key to sexuality, we use our senses to experience what we're going through. And so when we set these sensual cues up, they can help us to get into the right frame of mind, the right mindset, the right mood, and this can really help promoting feelings of intimacy, closeness, and relaxation. So we can use things like fragrance to help us to set positive rituals and routines around our sex lives. So if we know that something is going to make us feel good, we feel more motivated to then move towards that thing. So using sensual cues, whether it's music, whether it's touch, whether it's fragrance, can really help us to tune into what's going on into our bodies and to be present and in the moment when it comes to our sex lives. Fragrance can play an important role in our sex lives because it can help us tune in to what's happening for us sensually. And as sexologists, we often talk about things like mindful sex and how this tuning in our attention specifically to what is happening physically in the body, can be of real benefit to our sex lives and our pleasure. So when we use something like a fragrance, what it does is it takes our attention towards where we are essentially experiencing more, and these are key pillars of sexuality. Sex is a very sensual experience, and so fragrance can play a key role in us leaning into our sensuality and taking our attention in that direction. Fragrance can play such a key part of our sex lives because sensuality is what sets us up to lead into sexuality.